Hi, this is Chris with Christopher Turner Yoga, and today I'm going to be doing a sequence that starts right about here and goes down. So we're going to be doing a bit of core work in the beginning, and the rest of the work is going to be on the legs and the feet. Especially as we get older, balance becomes not only more difficult, but more important. And if you do have any issues with things like diabetes or other things that might affect your limbs or your feet, balance will be even tougher. So I'm going to try to make this class pretty accessible. I'm going to try to give easier variations of a lot of things, but I also will be throwing in things there that will require a bit of strength or will test your balance. So I really encourage you to please listen to your body. If anything's painful, don't do it or try to do it in a way where it doesn't hurt. It's perfectly acceptable to take a break or sit out a certain part of the class. With the balance stuff, I just encourage you to be patient with it. And it's good practicing these things because over time it gets easier. So please take care of yourself. Please listen to your body and make this practice your own. So yeah, let's get going. I neglected to mention in the intro that you will need a chair for this class. We're going to be using it a few different places in the class. And otherwise, just yourself and, your trusty yoga mat, because we will be doing some standing postures. So you want to make sure you're not slipping around on a slick floor. So to start off with, let's just do a little bit of centering here. So bring your feet to about hip distance if that's comfortable for you. If you have more issues with balance, feel free to bring your feet a bit further apart, maybe as wide as shoulder distance, but just make this comfortable. And outsides of the feet roughly parallel to each other. It's good to get in the habit of doing that because that just really is a nice, it creates a nice posture in the spine by starting with the feet and a nice neutral position. It sort of carries up through the rest of the body. So find yourself in a standing position. Go ahead and close your eyes. And let's just check in for a moment. So I just want you to notice what it feels like balancing here, standing on your feet, especially with your eyes closed. It might be a little bit more difficult. If it's too difficult, please open your eyes. But just notice the sensation of standing on your feet and really feel your feet planting down into the floor. And go ahead and lift your toes, see if you can spread them out and place them back down. And go ahead and see if you can really grip the floor with your toes. And after that, engage your thighs, engage your core. Shoulders are back and down. And trying to grow as tall as you can through your spine. So really just feel this solid foundation standing on the ground. Feel your feet on the ground and just notice what it feels like. Try to be present in your whole body at the same time. So go ahead and relax that. And let's open up your eyes and start to test your balance a little bit. So just move around in a circle, forward and back, side to side. You don't have to test it too much, but just feel what it feels like shifting your weight around in space. And then come back to center and move the circle in the other direction. One direction will probably feel more awkward than the other. And just feel the weight. Notice the weight shifting in your feet as you move around. Notice where your toes are touching, where your heels start to take your weight. Just notice what's going on in your body as you move around. And then coming back to center. And close your eyes one more time. Again, just feel your feet on the floor. So blinking your eyes open, let's go ahead and lay down on our backs. And we're going to do a little bit of core work to warm up here. Core is really related to balance, and that's why I'm throwing it into this class. Nobody really enjoys doing core work, but don't worry, we're just going to do a little bit. We're just going to try to warm up a bit here. So starting off here, try to make yourself really nice and long. Go ahead and reach your arms up overhead and stretch your toes down. See if you can press your lower back down into the ground so you're not arching too much. So you're already engaging your core a bit to do this. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, pull your knees into your chest and pull yourself up into a ball. Inhale, stretch long again. And exhale, knees to chest. Again, one more of those. Inhale long. And exhale, knees to chest. So rest your head back down, place your palms on your knees and just move your knees around a little bit if this feels comfortable. And see if you can notice where your sacrum and your bum is touching the ground as you move your knees around in a circle. And then go in the other direction. Breathing, nice, slow, deep breath. Try to be conscious of your breath throughout this practice. I'll try to remind you of it, but keep coming back to your breath every time you think of it. So place your feet down on the ground, and now we're just going to gently tap our lower backs or sacrum. So lift off the ground and just gently drop yourself. Don't make it hard. It shouldn't be painful. We're just trying to wake up that lower back area, the bum. Just try to get a little blood and oxygen moving into that area. You can do it really quickly if you like. Just real gentle tap on the floor. Should feel good. So go ahead and bring your right knee into your chest and really hug that in. Straighten out the left leg. And then see if you can do a spinal twist here. If you're really tight through the lower back, you might not be able to go very far. Try to keep your right shoulder anchored on the ground. You don't need to bring your knee to the ground. We're just doing a gentle spinal twist. We're just waking up the body here. And you should feel that through your right hip as well. So go ahead and hug the knee back into the chest and roll back onto your back. Hug the left knee in. Straighten out the right leg. And then we'll do a spinal twist on the other direction. Again, just make this really gentle. Doesn't have to be your biggest stretch. Just slowly moving that hip over, feeling the stretch a bit in your left hip, feeling it a bit through your lower back and side body. Go ahead and hug the knee back in as you're rolling back onto your back. Hug both knees in. And then place your feet on the floor. So we're just going to do some gentle crunches here, some gentle sit-ups. And I'm going to give a few different variations. Just start off by interlacing your fingers behind your head. And take a nice big inhale. Exhale and just lift your shoulders off the ground. Just a little bit of your upper back. And then inhale back down. Exhale up. Nice and slow. See if you can feel that engagement in your abs as you're doing this. We're just looking to start to wake up the core here. So if this is relatively easy for you, feel free to lift your feet off the ground and hover them. And if you want to make it just a little bit harder, you can send your feet either straight up or out at an angle. It's actually harder if you do it at an angle. It's easier if you send them straight up, if you're flexible enough. So, and please stop whenever you need to. I'm gonna do 3 more here. Exhaling up, inhaling down. And wherever you're at, if your feet are up, go ahead and release them to the ground. Release your hands, lie back, allow your knees to fall together, and take a break. So we're going to work on the size of the core just a little bit, and this will be the last core thing we do. Don't worry, it's not going to be a ton of core today. So starting off, again, fingers interlaced behind your head. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, bring your right elbow towards your left knee, or just twist over to the side. Inhale back down. Exhale, other side. Now, if you want to make this more difficult, if you don't, please stay here and just keep coming up. One arm towards the opposite knee and reverse. If you want to make it harder, go ahead and bring your feet off the ground. And if you want to make it a little bit harder, go ahead and stretch one leg out as you bring your knee towards that arm that you're stretching up. Please, whichever variation you're doing of this, try to do it with the breath. So inhaling back, exhaling forward, and just also do it as much as feels okay. Core is always difficult, but it's so good for us. So it's okay to push yourself a little bit here. Hopefully you're not cursing me already. So just one more on each side, finishing up with the left elbow to right knee. Allow your knees to come back down, or feet to come back down if they were up. Relax your hands. Feet apart, knees falling together. Just take a nice big inhale. And let that out with a sigh. Come back to an easy breath. So slowly making your way over onto your stomach. The worst is past us. Sorry I had to do that to you. So we're going to warm up just the lower back a little bit here too, the back side of the core. So placing your hands just right beside your chest and lift up into a gentle cobra. Inhale up, exhale down. Keep going with that, inhaling up and exhaling down. Keep going at your own pace. See if you can really feel the engagement of the muscles in your lower back along the spine, lifting you up. Try not to push up with your hands so much, but use those muscles in your back to really lift up. I'm trying to warm up those muscles, create a little bit of strength there. So next time you come up, just hold it up if that's okay in your body. If it's available to you, this is great. Just stick here for a few breaths. If it's available, bring your hands off the ground. And this gets much more difficult, especially if you're not used to yoga. If it's available, go ahead and bring your legs off the ground too. Breathing wherever you're at. Coming down out of this when you need to. Make sure there's nothing weird going on in your lower back. It shouldn't be painful. So go ahead and bring that down. Rest your forehead on your hands. Take a break. Bring your feet up and windshield wiper your legs back and forth. It'll help to release your lower back. And then pushing up through a tabletop position and back towards a child's pose. We just want to, again, stretch out the lower back a little bit after we did that. Just rocking a little bit from side to side. Just make sure your lower back's feeling okay. So go ahead and come up onto hands and knees. We're going to do a spinal twist here. Again, this will help to release some of the tension we created through the core. So just bring your right hand underneath the left. If you can bring your shoulder to the ground, that's great. And if that's working for you, just bring this other hand up, the left hand further up, and breathe. So go ahead and bring your left hand back beside your head. Lift up. We're going to switch sides. So thread the left hand underneath the right arm and do this other side. Reach that right hand up if that works for you. Nice gentle spinal twist. And go ahead and bring that right hand back. Left hand back. Let's rotate out the hips while we're here, because I think this always feels good. Nice little massage on the hips. One direction and then the other. And then coming back to center. So let's go ahead and come back up into a standing position. And we're going to do just a few half sun salutes with chair pose, just starting to work on strengthening the legs just a little bit. So standing, well, it doesn't really matter where you're standing, middle of your mat, top of your mat. We're not going to be moving back from it. So wherever is comfortable on your yoga mat. So your feet can be anywhere between together, hip distance. If you need them wider for stability, as wide as shoulder distance is fine. Try to make the outsides of your feet parallel to each other, because that will help you in the forward fold. So go ahead and really close your eyes and really feel your feet on the ground again. And again, lift your toes, spread them out, and really place them back down and try to claw the ground with your feet. Try to create a real engagement of the arches. You'll feel that engagement carry up into your thighs. Accentuate that a little more. Really engage your thighs, engage your core, shoulders back and down. So go ahead and blink your eyes open. Take a nice big inhale with me. And a nice complete exhale. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, really reach up. Exhale, fold forward. This first forward fold, let's just hang out a little bit here. Keep your knees bent. Take a little time to warm up your hamstrings. It's fine if you can't come to the ground, if your hands are on your shins or even your knees. It's fine if you want to support yourself with a chair too. Just rock around a little bit from side to side. Bending one knee and then the other. So bring your hands to your knees, flat back, really extending the spine out through the tailbone, up to the back of the head. Exhale, fold again. So inhale, coming up into chair pose. Let's hold this for a breath. And on your next exhale, go ahead and stand, hands to prayer. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, bum comes down into chair pose. Exhale, long, slow exhale into a forward fold, knees bent. Great, you don't have to keep your legs straight. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Again, take a breath here. And on this next exhale, standing. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale, standing. One more of those. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, chair. And exhale, standing. Release the hands down by your side. So we're going to work a little bit more on chair pose. And chair pose is not a pose that many people really love to do. It's a hard pose. But it's really great at developing strength here, which is one of the real focuses of this class. So there are two different ways you can do this. So you can do chair pose from standing like we were just doing, and I'll walk you through that. Or you can do chair pose from a chair. So, and both of them can be tough, but from a chair, you've got the option of just pushing up towards standing up and not coming up very high, or you've got the option of coming up into it, the full chair pose. So, please do whichever one feels right for your body at the moment. So we're going to be holding it for a few breaths here. So again, standing, if you're not in the chair, feeling your feet on the ground. And whether you're standing or in the chair, let's go ahead and come into chair pose. Regardless of which way you're getting into the pose, see if you can shift your weight back into your heels a little bit. And also see if you can really make sure that you're not overarching or rounding your back. You want a nice neutral spine here. You're reaching up through your fingertips, so make sure your shoulders aren't creeping up by your ears. And please, please come out of this if you need to. Take a break, because this is tough. So if you're here, you can just come up and come back down. If you want to get a little bit more, if you're in the chair, just sit back and maybe come back up if it's working for you. Let's do another 2 breaths here. And standing, hands to prayer. Go ahead and release your hands down. Close your eyes. Catch your breath. So go ahead and blink your eyes open. So go ahead and grab your chair, and you want the back of the chair just in front of you. And we're going to be doing a little bit of balance now, but also working on strength in the calves. The calves are so important for balance. Just the strength in the lower part of the legs and the feet, and just waking up these muscles is such a great thing for balance. So I'm going to give you some options here. Essentially what we're going to be doing is be coming up on to our tippy toes. So it's great to help yourself with balance. If this is really difficult, just doing that even with the chair, just do one leg at a time. And the main thing we're looking for here is we're just trying to wake up. We're trying to turn on these calf muscles. So first option, just lifting one leg and then the other. Second option, coming up onto tiptoes. Third option, coming into chair pose, which will really work on the strength all the way up the legs, and then come up onto your tiptoes. And if you want to be really adventurous, if balance isn't too much of an issue for you, you can try coming into chair pose on your tiptoes. But this gets a lot harder. It's hard for me to hold this balance. So wherever you're at, just see if you can keep working on the strength in your calves. And come down when you need to, or go down and come back up. Whatever feels okay in your body. Just 2 more big breaths here. And then slowly coming down. So turn to the side of your chair, and we're going to work on a little bit of strength in the glutes here. So just holding onto the chair here, just lift your leg out to the side. It doesn't matter which leg you're doing. We'll swap and do the other one. So try to stand really strong in your standing leg. Really press that standing foot out, down into the ground, and lift the other leg out. So, and see if you can feel, we're working on strength in the glute here. So see if you can reach back and just feel if your bum is engaging as you're doing this. And we want to do about 10 or 12 reps on each side. If you want to count, if you want to keep it even, that's great. I'm losing count because I'm talking too much, but I'll try to do somewhere in the neighborhood of that. And also see if you can keep breathing as you're doing. It's great to inhale up, exhale down. I'm just going to do 2 more on this side. And coming back down. So I'm switching around to the other side. Hand on the chair. Again, if you want the standing leg to be really strong, really press down into that standing foot. So stand on that foot before you ever lift the other leg off the ground. And again, try to go for 10 or 12 reps here. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And we're working on strength here in the glutes, but see if you can focus on strength here in the standing leg as well. And try to keep that hip really solid. I'm going to go over that as well when we start doing a little bit more balance. But our tendency is when we're doing standing stuff and moving the leg around for this hip to splay out. So try to keep that hip nice and solid as you're doing this. So just a couple more. And coming back to center. So now I'm gonna throw a tree pose into the mix here. If you're not used to yoga, if you're not used to tree pose, it's difficult to learn how to do, but there are a couple ways that it becomes much easier. So one way is to do it standing with your back to the wall and just holding onto the wall, because it's much easier to balance if you don't have to worry about falling in all directions. So if you have your hands back on the wall, it's easier to come up here. You can also do it with your hands on a chair, and you can use it for balance this way. So, and this way it's easy to kind of maybe just bring one fingertip onto the chair. So get set up, however is gonna work for you. And then go ahead and bring your feet together. You want your feet as close as they can be together, because we're already starting to sort of balance towards the center line, which is what we want to do in tree pose. And again, feel your feet on the ground. Really plant your feet down into the ground. Lift your toes, spread them out, place them back down. Engage your thighs, engage your core. Make sure the hips are strong. So really pressing all your weight into your left foot, and see if you can feel all your weight into the left foot before you even start to lift the right foot off the ground. So stand on that left foot. This leg is strong, the hip is strong. If you can, bring that right heel off the ground. If that's easy, you can bring the right heel up to the left calf. Try to keep this standing leg engaged, the hip engaged. If that's easy, you can bring that foot above the knee. Don't place the foot on the knee because it puts pressure there. So if you're balancing in some way, not using the wall or the chair, feel free to bring your hands to prayer. Really keep thinking about standing through that standing leg. I know it sounds obvious. And also look at something in the room. Find a point of focus, something to stare at that's not moving. Preferably not me. It's called a dristi in Sanskrit. Focus and breathing. We often forget to breathe when we start balancing. If you fall down, just come back up. Try it again. So if your arms are up, bring your hands back to prayer. If your hands are in prayer, go ahead and start to release them. Wherever you're at, start to bring that right foot back down to the ground as slowly, gently as you can. So feel both feet on the ground, back on 2 feet. Really plant your feet down into the ground, and now start to shift your weight over into that right foot. Right hip is strong. It's not coming out to the side, so we're just a nice solid line here coming all the way down the right side. So shift all the weight over into that right foot. If it's available to you, bringing that left heel off the ground. If it's available to you, bring the heel to your calf. Or if you want to go further, bring your foot above the knee. Wherever you're at, keep standing through that standing leg and keep reminding yourself to bring that right hip in. You have options for your hand placement. Just do what feels okay for you. And focus on your drishti. Stare at something that's not moving and breathe. I'm losing my balance. And slowly coming down wherever you're at, releasing the left foot back to the ground really, really gently if you can. Feel both feet on the ground. Close your eyes for a minute. So blinking your eyes open. Go ahead and grab your chair again. And after engaging the hips, that side body, we want to try to open them up a little bit. So we're going to do a forward fold here with a slight variation that'll really be working on the side of the hip. So go ahead and cross your right foot in front of the left foot. And then fold over the chair. You want to find a nice stretch in the hamstring. You're going to feel it more in the left leg here. And then see if you can also start to feel that stretch through the outer hip. This is a good stretch all the way down that left side. So just find a comfortable stretch here. Don't wrench your hamstrings. Just find a place where you can find your comfortable edge. Try not to round too much in your back. If you're folding forward, try to fold forward by tilting your pelvis forward. And try to keep your back as relatively straight, as straight as you can. If you're just rounding, you're not going to be getting the stretch there. So wherever you're at, just come up and support yourself with your right hand on the center of the chair, left hand on your left hip, and see if you can turn a little bit up towards this left side. Just really gentle stretch, and this should accentuate the stretch in your hip a little bit more. And swap hands, so left hand here in the center of the chair, twist to the other side just for a counter stretch. Just for a moment. And both hands back to the chair. So let's go ahead and switch our feet around. So left foot in front of the right. Our right leg is really straight, left knee is bent. And again, we're going to just work on the forward fold here. One leg will probably feel very different than the other. I know this hip, for me, my right hip tends to be tighter. So I really feel this more in this stretch on this side. So again, try to keep your back as straight as possible. Really try to focus on tilting your pelvis forward in order to come into the stretch. And you'll feel that immediately in your hamstrings and your hips as if you tilt the pelvis forward. By rounding your back, you're really not stretching that area at all. Breathing. So coming up wherever you're at, place the left hand in the center of the chair, right hand on the right hip, And see if you can twist up towards that right side. Try to keep your back relatively straight and try to almost do a back bend in your upper back. And then back to center. Right hand in the center of the chair. Just a quick counter stretch. Just a breath or two on this side. And then coming back to center. And then bring your feet so they're back beside each other, right way around. And just do a really gentle forward fold here over the chair. Just allow yourself to hang over the chair. So coming up from there, bring your feet as close as you can to the chair. Bring your left foot back into a runner's lunge. I want to stretch out the calves after we worked on that strength with them. So with everything in the body, we want to be both strong and supple. That's what yoga is really great at, is emphasizing both the strength and the flexibility. So just make this feel good. Just move around. We're really looking just to stretch the calf here. And from here, see if you can come to a point. You don't want your right knee moving forward past the ankle, but we're going to try to come up into a crescent lunge here. If balance is a real issue for you, this might be difficult, so you might want to just keep your hands on the chair. If you can balance, makes it easier if your feet are hip distance apart. You don't want the left foot coming back right behind the right foot. It'll make balance more difficult. So if you can balance, go ahead and bring your hands to your hips and come up here. And you want to see if you can tilt your pelvis back, which will make you feel the stretch here and the front of the hip flexors. So we're just working on getting a little bit of flexibility through here, which is an area that gets tight for most of us if we're sitting in a desk chair a lot of the day or sitting at our computers. So if you're balanced, if this feels okay, you can bring your arms up overhead. Wherever you're at, try to keep focusing on the breath. Just 2 more big breaths here. Really working on tilting the pelvis back and feeling that stretch through the front of this leg. And you're getting strength in both legs. So go ahead and bring your hands back to the chair. Step that left foot forward and step the right foot back and work on that runner's lunge first. Just moving around, trying to make it feel good. And then make sure your left foot is far enough forward so that if you're coming up into the crescent lunge, that your knee is not past your ankle. That puts a lot of pressure on the knee if the knee is coming past the ankle. So you want your knee to be either above or behind the ankle. So either stay here with your hands on the chair, or if you're able to balance, coming up into a crescent lunge. If you're coming up, engage the core, tilt the pelvis back, and really see if you can feel that stretch through the right hip flexors. If you're balanced, if you're able to do this, bring the arms up. If you fall out of it, just come back to it. It's always fine to keep your hands on the chair. Breathing. 3 more big breaths here. 2, 1. And bring your hands forward. Stepping forward. Again, just fold forward over the chair. Just relax. So go ahead and bend your knees and 1 vertebra at a time. See if you can stand up from here. Slowly, slowly. So we're gonna do one more standing posture. If you're really tight in your hamstrings or the inner thighs, we're going to do a wide leg forward bend. It's fine to keep a chair right here in front of you and just support yourself with that. It will make this easier. And again, please take care of yourself. Please do the version that feels right for you. So bring your feet relatively wide apart, kind of as wide as is comfortable. You want to turn your toes in just a little bit. You don't want your toes to be pointed out. So toes in, heels out. That'll actually help the forward fold part of this. So go ahead and inhale, arching back into a bit of a back bend, and exhale, folding forward. So either placing your hands on the chair or bring your fingertips to the ground. If you have yoga blocks, you can use them to support yourself. Just find your way into the variation of this stretch that feels right for you today. And try it again to make your back as straight as possible. Also work on engaging your thighs. That'll support your knees. And it also helps the hamstrings to release a little bit. Breathing. Feel free to move around a little bit from side to side if that feels okay. Walking your hands back and forth. Some of these static stretches end up feeling really good if we just sway a little bit, really slowly. So on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. And on your exhale, engage your core and standing up with a really straight back. Bring your feet together. All the way together. Again, close your eyes and feel your balance. Just notice your energy. So just winding things up here. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. Come down onto your back. Feet on the floor. Find a comfortable position here. Go ahead and place your right foot over your left thigh and just sway your hips back and forth. Should feel good. Nice, slow, deep breath. And back to center. And we're gonna do just one more hip opener as we're finishing up here. So this is a great option. Just stay right here if you can feel the stretch in your hip here. If you're able to do thread the needle, bring your right hand in between your legs and grab onto the back of the left thigh. Make sure you engage wherever you're at. Engage your left foot. That will really help to protect the knee. And if you're more flexible, you can always grab onto the shin there. Wherever you're at, make sure that you're able to bring your head and shoulders back down on the ground and that it feels comfortable. This should feel like a good stretch, but it shouldn't feel like a struggle. Breathe. Just letting go. I always love doing these pigeon poses, these hip openers at the end of a practice. It's a good way to release tension. We hold so much tension in our glutes. So go ahead and release that side. Placing your foot back down on the ground. Place your right foot on the ground. Left foot over the right thigh and sway the hips back and forth just to start with. And coming back to center. Again, you have the same options. You can leave your foot on the floor. You can do thread the needle, grabbing onto the back of your right thigh with your left hand in between your legs. Or you can grab onto the shin there if you're more flexible. Make sure that you're flexing your foot. Really helps to stabilize the knee. It engages these muscles below the knee. And breathe. And see if you can bring your sacrum down on the ground so you're not just rounding in your lower back as you're doing this. Should feel like a nice letting go. So go ahead and bring that foot back down, the right foot back down, the left foot back down. Hug your knees into your chest. Just rock around a little bit from side to side. So if this feels like a good stretch, you stay here. If you're able to do happy baby, bring your elbows between your knees and grab onto the outsides of your feet. You should, if you're doing happy baby, you should try to bring your feet just right above your knees. And again, make sure that you're keeping your shoulders on the ground. This should not be a big struggle. If it is, just hug your knees. You can get a great stretch doing that. So if you are in happy baby, see if you can press your tailbone down towards the ground so you're not just rounding in your lower back. You'll feel more of the stretch that way. Wherever you're at, go ahead and release your legs. Stretch them out. And get comfortable in a Shavasana. Allow your palms to face up. Just rock around a little bit from side to side. Just find a comfortable position. See if you can bring your shoulder blades together just a little bit underneath your back. Make your neck nice and long. Your chin is coming into your chest a little bit. Take a nice deep breath with me. And a nice complete exhale. And just let go of the breath. Just notice if you seem to be holding on to any tension anywhere. See if you can really allow your shoulders and your arms to melt down into the ground. Make sure your forehead is relaxed. Your eyes are soft and wide. Your jaw is relaxed. And just notice the breath. Stop forcing it, but just see if you can notice how the breath moves your body when you've stopped, when everything else is still. And we're just going to hang out here for a few minutes. This is the best part of the practice. Don't skip over it. So slowly bringing your attention back into your body. Take a nice big inhale. And part your lips and let that out through your mouth. Reach your hands up overhead. Stretching out one more time. Nice morning stretch. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll over onto whichever side is more comfortable. And just take a moment here. And then slowly pushing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Stretch your arms up one more time. And back down and around. And bring your hands into prayer. Namaste. So yeah, drink lots of water. It'll help with all that strength stuff. It's good to drink water anyway. And yeah, I hope that sets a good tone for the rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.